The James Show Podcast.
And no, I'm not going to tell you. You know, I just said that in the last segment. No, I'm not going to tell you. And I had, seriously, 2 people say, well, are you going to tell me? Can you tell me? No. I'll tell Miss Parker if she asks.
Hi, Miss Parker.
But I'm a little closer to her than everyone else on the planet. So stop asking. You're going to have to listen at 11:05 tomorrow. All right. The story we're covering right now is one of the big headlines today. They're showing it on Fox News right now. There's a boat going through the water, and hey, he's having a good time. Looks like it's a beautiful weekend to deliver some drugs across the Caribbean. Boom! There it goes. And they don't have the sound in there, but this is probably something close to what it sounded like. And then add in some like splashing in there. But yeah, it's a big one. Now, it's fun to watch, and it's probably terrible people that got blowed up. But for those of you who think, like, yeah, we're finally taking the fight to the cartels and treating them like the terrorists they are, dude, you're not going to win this. This is not a winnable battle. Yeah, go ahead and kill all these guys. There'll be more guys in a different boat tomorrow. Why? Because people like to do drugs. And the laws of economics are immutable. You can pass a law against gravity. You can even go to war against gravity. You can have a war on gravity. It's not going to work. We can't. It's like a war on poverty. There's always going to be poor people. There's always going to be people be like, I don't feel like working. What do you feel like doing today? Well, I feel like drinking an entire handle of whiskey and peeing myself under the bridge. You're not going to stop it. They're always going to be with us. Poor people are always going to be with us. People who like drugs are always going to be with us. Gay people are always going to be with us. People who cheat on their spouses are always going to be with us. People who like to shoplift from the store are always going to be with us. There is not a legislative solution to many of the problems that ail us as a society. I think the founding fathers recognized that. You know, they had drugs when the founding fathers were putting this country together, and they didn't decide, hey, maybe we should restrict their freedom. No, it was as much freedom on the individual level as possible was the goal, whether it came to drugs or guns or whatever you can say or however you want to worship or whatever you want to write in the press. Freedom was supposed to be the animating principle of this country. The drug war has been antithetical to that, and it's proven to be a failure. We need to end it. Or if you don't agree with me yet, just remember I said this. And tomorrow, when everyone still has all the drugs they want, are you going to remember I said this? A year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when opioid deaths are still going up and we're still having a problem with drugs, you'll be like, yeah, you know what? Parker said that wasn't going to work, and here we are 10 years later, and it hasn't worked. And you know why I know this? Because this is what I said 10 years ago when we went to war against the cartels and we were taking out Noriega and taking out Pablo Escobar and taking out all these things where you think, well, hey, I guess that's the end of the drug war. No. Tomorrow, there's people who like cocaine are still going to want cocaine. And as long as there's a financial incentive to deliver it to them, there's going to be someone out there who will give it to them. I know it's not a popular stance, but I'm not afraid to say unpopular things when I know I'm right. This is Gary in Newark. You're on WBAP.
Hey, James, thanks for taking my call. I completely agree with you. It should be free. This meth, they need to have it on every corner over here in Newark and give it to them like a Kool-Aid stand. If they want it, they can have all they want. And after they get all messed up and kill themselves or walk, whatever they do, and die, who cares? Over
That's
here,
not my position.
Rule in Newark, Texas, never, ever run over one of these adult men on a bicycle. Do not hit them, please. And that's what they teach the student drivers. Don't run over the adult men on bicycles in Newark. So other than that, it's okay. But if you run over one of them on a bicycle, it's probably your bicycle. So don't hit them.
Okay. That's not my position, though. I don't think drugs should be free and we hand it out to people.
They're no good. They can't sell them if they're free. The cartels go broke. They got to make money. If somebody gives them to them free, the meth, they can cook it in their own bathtub, give them whatever they need to make it with, and don't blow their faces up. You know, if it blows their house up, more power to it, one less drug house.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not on with these drug people. If they want to kill themselves, let them do it. It makes a better place for the people like me that don't want to be around them.
Well, making it free isn't gonna kill them. These people don't want to die, and most of them, recognize that if I do too much, I will die. And
you don't see the ones I do.
Well, I know, but listen, if availability of drugs would kill them, they can get enough money to get enough drugs to kill themselves. They would have done it already. I'm not asking again. This is why I put down all the caveats at the beginning of the conversation. I am not pro-drug. I'm not anti-drug, but I'm also not pro-drug. I am indifferent to drugs. Drugs are just like any other commodity or good or service in the school of economic thought. If you want to put the cartels out of the business tomorrow, you legalize it all because they can't compete with a Bayer or a Merck or a Johnson & Johnson. Or if they do want to be the guy that supplies the cocaine, they're going to have to offer a better product at a cheaper price and do it the right way. They don't just get to be the top of the hill by being the most violent guys who are trying to enjoy this industry. And that's okay. How many different ways can I prove this without repeating myself? Think of cigarettes. If we made cigarettes illegal, there's still a bunch of people out there who want cigarettes. So there's still going to be people who go get tobacco and they roll it up, or maybe they just give you a bag of tobacco that you have to roll up yourself, but you will still get your supply. And so now, since it's illegal, who is the guy that's going to control tobacco? It's not going to be the guy who gives it to you the best or the cheapest. It's going to be the guy that kills everyone else. The most violent, ruthless guy is going to rule the tobacco market. But we don't have that. We have legal cigarettes. And if you want more cigarette turf, you don't see CVS shooting at Rite Aid or Rite Aid shooting at Walgreens or Walgreens shooting at the Exxon station or Buc-ee's or whatever. It gets a little more civilized immediately. You only get that turf, a.k.a. market share, by being a good actor who provides a good product, who doesn't kill their customers, who does it with maybe a cute mascot or clever branding or good marketing or a recognizable logo, great reputation, maybe some endorsements on the James Show. I'm kidding. I'm not endorsing drugs on the James Show. But yeah, that's my unpopular opinion of the day. This drug boat that got blown up may make you feel good. It's not going to change anything when it comes to drugs. Hunter Biden is still going to like drugs tomorrow. Something you don't know about me is I am a Taco Bell historian. If there was a degree that universities offered in Taco Bell, I would be the last boss you had to get past before I allowed anyone to hand you that degree. Huge fan. Huge fan. And you're like, James, that's trash food. Why would you be such a fan of trash food? Stop it. It's not trash food to me. I'm a trash panda. The other thing I'm probably qualified to teach a college class on is gas station food. Have you ever really stopped down and just treated yourself with the gourmet deliciousness that comes off the rollers in gas station these days? So Taco Bell is doing something that I'm pretty excited about. They're going to do some throwback items on their menu coming up. And that sounds kind of awesome because we all have like this weird nostalgia where once something is taken away from you, the memory of that becomes better. And then, that happens when people die. This guy that was alive, that was kind of a jerk when he died. Oh, he's a saint now. He was the greatest guy ever. Well, Taco Bell is going to be bringing back some items from the Y2K decade, which I thought was weird. We don't have a name for that decade, do we? We're such weirdos about that. How do we have... Growing up, there was the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and then, I don't know. What do we call it, the aughts? Do we call it the Y2K? I don't know. But that's what they're aiming for. And so that might be something that ends up being a little disappointing to me because I think they need to go deeper into the vault. Taco Bell celebrating the Y2K decade. Are they going to get some of the classics that you and I want? Well, you can find the full list on DallasExpress.com. But here's some of the things they're bringing back from the year 2000-ish. Cool Ranch Doritos Loco Tacos, Caramel Apple Empanada, 7-layer burrito, double-decker taco, chili cheese burrito. All items will be priced at $3 or less. Yeah. So this is supposed to start next week. Next Tuesday is the limited time run. That's when that starts. If you're a rewards member, you can get Y2K style merch. Or, you can buy it. They're not going to give it to you. But I was hoping they would go back a little bit further. Because look, let me take you back in our dream scenario. When I was but a wee lad, Taco Bell wasn't hardly anything like it is now. I want them to bring back all the Taco Bells that look like an Alamo. Remember that? Remember when all the Taco Bells, the front facade, it looked like one of the greatest Texas historical landmarks? And this was like a national thing. Everybody got to see the Alamo. People in Idaho who are 1,000 miles away from the Alamo were reminded of a beautiful piece of Texas history every time they wanted to go get a burrito. I used to love that. But I don't think they went back far enough. I didn't see any mention of a Meximelt. I didn't even see a Mexican pizza. But there's a couple other things I want them to bring back besides old school food. I want them to bring back, number one, the old school prices. You remember around when I was in junior high school, they had the value menu that was $59, $79, $99. Yeah, you could get the good stuff for 99 cents. The cheap stuff was 59 cents. But also, I want them to bring back the commercials that they had. Now, when I was really young, Taco Bell commercials were terrible. Let me play you one from I think this one's from 1979.
Watch us make your food fresh
at Taco Bell, Taco Bell. Can you feel your taste buds tingle? Taco Bell, Taco Bell. Watch us make you a burrito or a tasty enchilada. Tostadas and tacos made up fresh at Taco Bell. Put a smile on your face at Taco Bell. Everybody loves the taste at Taco Bell.
I can't sit through that. I can't. That was terrible. How do you make something that's supposed to be Mexican food or Tex-Mex food, or at least have some sort of spice in it, the whitest, most vanilla, blandest, sorriest song I've heard? Ticka Ticka Taco Bell. Good Lord. Like, that was so white it's embarrassing. But they also need to bring back the marketing that they had in the early 90s. You don't remember how awesome it was. I'm about to remind you. In 1990, they started this trend with an MC Hammer commercial.
Yo, Hammer, I'm starving. Let's get some burgers.
Burgers? Hey, that's out the door. I got something much better in mind. Come on, let's break. Weakness. It's my weakness. Pump it up, girl.
This is where his pants inflate. Remember when his hammer pants inflated when he jumped off the building? And he fell down it was like a parachute when he jumped off a building. And it didn't stop there. You know, Taco Bell is Tex-Mex food. They used to have the Alamo as their facade. So it has a lot of Texas sort of leanings. And then if they didn't already win your heart with excellent food, they put Willie Nelson in a commercial in 1991. And he had a cute little song about Taco Bell.
He got off the bus at the border, went up, drove the woman with the rose tattoo. She offered him a ride, and when he got inside, she offered him something new. A steak burrito supreme from Taco Bell. She insisted that he try it. And a new zesty steak melt from Taco Bell. He had never had nothing like it. And when he tried the steak soft taco, all of a sudden he knew that he'd always be indebted for the rest of his life to the woman with the rose tattoo.
Now that's a Taco Bell commercial, damn it. That was the callback to the woman with the rose tattoo. He should have won a Grammy for that. It didn't stop there. Johnny Cash was still alive in 1992. They continued the trend with him.
Well, nobody has more choices for just a little cash. You can search the whole world over, and no matter who you ask, they say Taco Bell has more choices for just a little cash. You better make a run for the border, son. You better make a border dash. We're talking under $1. Nobody beats Taco Bell. Where else you gonna get so many choices with just a little cash?
Yeah, you see what he did there with just a little cash, and his name's Johnny Cash. He's very clever with that. It didn't stop there. For some reason, they just thought, let's take all the greatest music legends and make them sing about a burrito. Here's Little Richard. Dude, I would listen to that on a mixtape. Like, if you just made me a CD in 1993 and you threw that on there, I would just listen to it. It's like, yeah, here's Pearl Jam, here's Belle Biv DeVoe, and then here's the Little Richard Taco Bell commercial, and then here, Warren G or something. What were we listening to back then? Also, the songs that they had that weren't even sung by someone famous, like a music legend. I mean, look at the legendary guys. MC Hammer, Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Little Richard. Even when they had some studio guy singing it, the songs were better. Listen to this. This is like a slow jam for Taco Bell. This is like if you sat down AI, like if you sat down Good Garrett, my new AI producer, and said, write me a love song in 1990 style about Taco Bell. Listen how awesome this is.
When you say taco, say 59 cents. 'Cause that's all it takes at Taco Bell. Hard to believe, but you know darn well it tastes so good. Lettuce and cheese. Wake up your mouth with that seasoned ground beef. Run for the border.
Dang, man, I'm in mood for more than a taco after that. Jesus. And here's another great one to leave you on. A viral video that I found last year and I shared with you, where someone was making the case about the people who gripe about Taco Bell. And this isn't just Taco Bell. You people that gripe about fast food, they're like, yeah, McDonald's tastes good. And then, 20 minutes later, you feel terrible. Well, not me. My body's not kicking back the just regular old fast food. If your system can't handle fast food, maybe something's wrong with you. Maybe I'm better than you because my system loves it, eats it up. And some girl just nailed this for me in a viral video last year, said it better than I ever could. Taco Bell is for the strong.
Honestly, I think Taco Bell does a really good job at telling us who would survive a zombie apocalypse and who would not. For example, when you eat Taco Bell and then you start complaining about how bad your stomach hurts, I judge you because you're weak.
Yes.
You can't handle the good stuff. I've never had an issue. I know I would survive. Survival of the fittest. And then there's those people that are like, oh my God, I could never eat that. I care about what goes in my body and it's so not good for you. Okay. Well, a double decker taco is actually really good for me. It's really good when it's inside of me. Oh my God, it's not even real meat. It's not even real meat. Okay, Susan, nobody here but you thought it was. So who's looking like the dumb one now?
That woman's my hero. If I wasn't already married, I would seek her out. One thing I would just assume most sane people agree on, and I know it's not going to be everybody on any issue, but at least 80% of us at least have to agree that children should not be exposed to sexually explicit material in their school library. Now, you have to put in some exceptions like, well, what counts as sexually explicit? Or what if they're in health class and they need to learn what a vas deferens is? And so the diagram's necessarily going to have some sort of, damn well what I'm talking about. And this isn't a gay thing. This isn't a trans thing. This isn't a straight thing. I don't care what the orientation is. I don't want teachers having conversations with my 6-year-old about sex, period. And that shouldn't be too hard. That should be something most of us agree on. Well, we have a new law in Texas where school districts now have to comply with some obscenity standards, and there's some teeth in this law. And so how do you fight against that? Well, let's go to one of our local mainstream media outlets, Dallas Observer. When covering the implementation of this law, check out this headline. Utterly disastrous new law is emptying school library shelves. Shut up. Taking obscene materials out of an elementary school library is utterly disastrous. It's emptying the school library shelves. How much obscene material did y'all have on the shelves? If they're worried about getting in trouble and they had to take so damn many books off the shelf, what was going on yesterday? What was going on last week? What was on those shelves that y'all are so scared you had to take it off? Well, that's all. That's a lot of rhetorical questions in there. It's not emptying school library shelves. They even have a picture of a school library shelf, and it's pretty damn full. But they also call the bill poorly written in this article, and they say no new books will be added to any library shelves across the state for weeks to come because of a poorly written new bill. What that means in regular speak, that you and I, and the words that how we use them, is if you're going to get a new book that's not already approved, someone's going to have to take the time to read it first. In fact, there's going to be a panel of people who have to read the book, and they have to read a bunch of books that you want to introduce. All the new books are going to be screened, and they have to come together, and they all have to agree that this is appropriate for children. That's not something that can happen in an hour and a half. And so, yes, I mean, I guess technically you're right. No new books will be added to any library shelves across the state for weeks to come because of a bill, but I don't think that makes the bill poorly written. And I think that not only is not shocking or terrible, that's what we should have been doing this entire time. Hey, we're going to add a new book to the shelf. What's in it? I don't care. Just put it out there in front of minor children. I don't care how explicit it is. I don't care how sexual it is, how obscene it is. I don't care if it's straight up pornography. I don't care if it's Jeffrey Epstein's video stash. Just put it up there and stop asking questions, bigot. But the thing that kind of blows my mind about this is there are some people who won't quit. They are fighting tooth and nail to keep obscene books in front of your children, or maybe your grandchildren. I don't know how old you are. But look, listen to the complaints in here. They write these articles as if we all agree with them. Like, can you believe they're doing this? And at the end of the paragraph, I'm usually like, yeah, that makes sense. I'll give you an example. Here's a quote. Less than a month into the school year, Capel ISD's book list approval list is already 37 pages long, filled with hundreds of titles just as innocent as Charlotte's Web, and some with more challenging but crucial topics to inform older readers approaching voting age. Books like a kid's book about dyslexia for elementary schools, or Death by Whoopee Cushion for middle schools, or Same-Sex Marriage, Obergefell versus Hodges for high schools, are stuck in a literary prison holding cell, waiting for approval by the SLAC, which is the Student Library Advisory Council, that Capel has willingly formed without being petitioned. Yeah, that sounds fine. Put the... Oh, it's in a literary prison holding cell? That's what you're calling it when people are going to actually read it and review it and make sure it's not too nasty for kids? Make sure it's not too traumatic for kids? You know, exposing kids to titillating material at too young of an age is damaging to them. You know, some people are just born psychos. Some people are just born psychopaths. Some people are born pedophiles. But for some people, their sexual trauma, their sexual abuse as children, their sexual problems that are introduced early in age tip people into that lifestyle. You see a lot of people who are into children, and the explanation for it is like, why are you into kids, especially that specific age? That's usually the age they started being abused. And their brain learned that, hey, once you're this age, sex is an option. In fact, sex started out, your baseline is sex with that age. And so for some people, that gets cemented in their brain, that trauma gets burned into their synapses, and they seek out that equilibrium in adulthood because that's what they think sex is. That's what they were first taught sex is. And so there's a reason, there's a rational reason, and it's totally borne out by experience, history, logic, science, whatever you want to say, that it is hyper important for the well-being and development of children to keep them away from sexually titillating material at a young age. And some people they can't live with that. They've got to have obscene material in front of your kids. What the hell is the matter with you people? There's a couple of quotes in here. Someone from the Texas Freedom to Read Project. Yeah, freedom for underage children to read obscene materials is what they push for. The quote from them in the Dallas Observer is, "We cannot be clear enough. This will be utterly disastrous. It's impractical. It's burdensome. It's a quagmire. It's truly a maze. We have school districts that are talking about it at their board meetings, and some of them are saying, well, I think we have to have a SLAC, but that's not true. It's not impractical or burdensome. Look, if you find scanning a book and making sure it's not inappropriate for children, if you find that burdensome, then you need to get the hell out of the public school system. You need to stay away from kids, especially mine. Because you know what me and Miss Parker do for pretty much every book that my kids read? Before we buy it for them, because, we buy all their books for the most part, we make sure it's not nasty. If they want to watch a movie, what's it rated? Have you seen it before? Are we okay with this? If they want to listen to certain music, we've had to tell my daughter, who's only 13 years old, it's like, I don't know if you should be listening to the TV Girl. Me and Miss Parker went through a bunch of their songs, and some of that's really adult, and they talk about, things that happen with adult relations. And can you just tap the brakes on that? Let's take that off your Spotify playlist. But somehow screening out obscenities from minors is utterly disastrous, impractical, burdensome, quagmire, truly a maze. You people are sickos. Here's the rule that we should all live by. If I can take that exact same content, that drawing, that comic book, that description of whatever it is, butt stuff, straight stuff, I don't care, obscene material. If you go into a Walmart parking lot and you show that to a kid, and if it gets you arrested, then it shouldn't be in that kid's library. And that shouldn't be a controversial stance to take. But they're fighting it. Well done, Texas Freedom to Read Project. Well done. All right, that's going to do it for the James Show. Remember, we have a major, huge programming announcement for WBAP tomorrow at 11:05 a.m. And in the meantime, Mark Levin's coming up next. If you need more James Show action, go check out the podcast. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.
The James Show Podcast.